Hi, in this tutorial, we will learn how to create a new directory, how to create a new file, how to move folders or files, how to rename the files and folders, and then how to copy them, how to change the directory. So let's say if you're in directory 1, then you have to move to directory 2. How will you do that? So basically, we'll be covering in and out of how files and folders are managed on Linux or Unix based operating systems. So let's start working on it. So here, first of all, as you can see, we are in the user's home directory. So the path is slash user slash home directory, or the username. So what we want to do is we want to create a new directory, and for that what you will use is mkdir, which is make directory, and then the directory name. Here it would be, let's say, experiment. So as you can see, we have created a directory, a new directory with the name experiment. And if you want to enter that, if you want to go to into the directory, all you have to do is just type cd and then the folder name. Here in this case it would be experiment. So you are now in that folder that you have just created. So how will you know where you are at the moment? So for that you use the command pwd, which shows the current path of where you are. So here it says slash users slash username slash experiment. So once you're aware of your path and you understand that you have successfully created a one directory, what we'll do is we will create another one, another directory in that. So let's say task. So if you will get into the task directory and you will type pwd just to understand where you are currently. So as you can see, slash user slash username slash experiment, which was the first directory that we had created, and then inside that we have created task directory. So you are inside the task directory, and if you want to create a new file, let's say we will use vi editor for that, and then file name would be sample file.txt, and this would be a very random file. And to understand how the vi editor works, you have to go through the vi documentation. You can just google it, or you can just search for the tutorials on being skilled only. You will find plenty of them. And here you will just type some dummy text, and once you're done with that, just save that. And what we now have is a file uh, in the task directory. And if we will just try to create one more thing, in this case we are creating a new directory within the task directory. So here we are creating two directories, task 1 and task 2. And if you will just type ls, which is to list down all the items in the current folder. So here we can see that we have three files. If you want to see detailed version of the list, then you can just type al. In this case it will show us the file permissions or directory permissions, and then the username, the group name, the file size, and the date. So you're getting all the details of the contents of the current directory. And so currently we are in the task directory, and if you want to go back to experiment directory, in that case you will just have to type cd, which is change directory, and then dot dot. So if you will enter that, then you have gone one step down in the directory tree. So here we are in the experiment folder, and if you will just type lsal, then here you can see that we have one directory. And how do you identify if there is one directory? Here you can see this d, which represents directory, and here this was a file, text file. So here we don't see d, it is just hyphen. So directories will always have D in the beginning, and then this portion is the read write execute permission of the given folder or file. And then so this one is for owner, this one is for group, and these three are for others. So R represents read, W represents write, X represents execute, and same goes for this. And if you will see hash in between any of these, which means that the respective permission is not given to that particular group. So what we will do now is we will first of all try to rename the files and folders, and then we will copy a few files and folders, and then we will copy a few files and folders. So let's start with copying the folders. So here, as you can see, we have one folder which is task, and what we want to do is we want to copy task to tasks. So what we want to do is we want to duplicate a directory. So how to do that? You have to use cp. The command is cp. Then the file or folder's name that you want to copy, and then the file or folder's name that you want to name it as. So once you are done with that, just press enter, and you will see that it says task is a directory, not copied. So for copying a directory, you have to use cp space -r, and once you're done with that, it will copy or it will duplicate the directory. So this is for directories. In case it was just a file, it would have successfully executed. Here it is showing some error. It is because it was a directory that we were copying, not the file. So when you are trying to copy a directory, you have to do it recursively, and for that you are using -r. And likewise for removing the directory as well, you will be using -r, and I will just show you how that works. But for now, as you can see, we have tasks, and if you'll go to task for directory, and you will list down all the contents, and then you will just go back and go into tasks, and you will see all the contents. So as you can see, the contents are pretty much same, right? Here we are seeing these three files, or these two are directories, and this one is file, and likewise here. So the contents are duplicated. So basically we have duplicated the directory, which in turn has these files. So this is how you copy a directory. And in case you want to duplicate a file or copy a file, just type cp sample file, and then sample file. Here we are just typing it as sample underscore file 1. So if you will just list down all the contents, you will see that we have now two files. One is sample file and second is sample file 1. So this is how you copy the file. And in case you want to remove that new file that you have created, just use rm as the command. So if you do that, now that file is removed. And if you want to remove the directory, let's say we want to remove the directory task1. Here we can see that there is nothing, but let's create a sample as the directory. Now we have a directory called sample. Just go back, and what you want to do is we want to remove this directory called task1. So we just now created one folder inside the directory task1, and we want to remove the directory task1. So just type rm space task1, and as you can see, it is throwing an error that task1 is a directory, so it cannot remove it. So what you have to do is instead is rm -r and then task1. So once you will done that, you can see that the directory is removed. So this is how you remove the directory. Now let's say we want to rename a folder. So for that, just type mv and then task2 is the folder's name that we want to rename, and then what you want to rename it as. So mv command is used for achieving two things. First is you can move the file or folder to a desired location. Second is you can rename using that command. So if the destination is the current folder, then basically you are renaming the file or directory. So for example, mv task 2, you want to rename it as task 1. So just see, we now have task 1. The task 2 is renamed as task 1. So let's say we are currently in the directory tasks, and we want to move this task 1 to the experiment folder. So you just have to type dot dot slash. So by doing that, you will be moving that task 1 directory to experiment folder. So now you can see that we are not seeing the task 1 folder inside tasks folder. So if you'll go one level down in the directory, and then if we'll list down all the contents, then you can see task 1 is here. So this is how you move file or folder from one location to another location.
Thanks so much for watching this tutorial. If you liked it, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you didn't, then leave a comment so that we can improve it further. Do watch these suggested tutorials to learn even more, and do let us know what you want to learn on Being Skilled.